we just need to manage those populations a little bit better. And then, you know, that'll help decrease the amount of, because they do a lot of habitat, they eat like all the young aspens as they're coming up, things like that, so we don't have any young aspens that are outside of a fence in the upper Rio Bonito, so that's a big push. We're trying to, we gotta just kind of help that stuff along, but you don't wanna eliminate anything to the point where you're compromising. It is, it's a balance, and so we've gotten rid of a lot of the major alpha predators, and so we have to kind of fill that spot. But we do have mountain lions up there too, they just don't need enough elk to make a big difference.
Mountain lions are big,
No, but where mountain lions usually help is they take the calves, so it puts gaps in your population. Well, I mean, but that's nature. Nature's not as nature's not as cute and fuzzy as people like to think. So
for sure.
If you've ever seen somebody pet a buffalo.
My ultimate goal would be to reintroduce bison to the Rio Bonito, and then we just put up don't put the fluffy cow signs. But I told my expertise is sort of in the bison management stuff. So I was like, well, the state folks, I was like, if you need somebody to help you manage your population and do all that, I'm your girl. So, but anyway.
That'd be cool to see down here.
It would be.
It would have to be, and we would have to manage those numbers extremely closely. You know, there would be you'd have a certain amount of loss and a certain amount of predation, but you wouldn't want that number to get so big that then it's like a herd of cattle that's destroying, because they can't migrate like they would have traditionally. So, but they will, you know, probably decrease the amount of people camping on the ground, you know, and you have to monitor people to make sure they're not feeding them, because then you just create monsters. So people already.
Yeah.
You're being recorded. Be careful what you say.
All right, moving on to old business before we get in trouble. Any old business needs to be done? As predator.
Sorry.
Anything we haven't addressed? Old business? New business?
I just have a question to bring up. You guys are doing an awesome job, but as a board member, I'd like to know what I could do or we could do to help pitch in, and besides just being the advocate.
So what the board, so this is something that we've kind of talked about before, the role of the board.
Yeah.
So we have ideas, but we are in danger of being in an echo chamber, right?
Gotcha.
So we talk about ideas amongst ourselves. You know, it'd be great. I think we should do this. But you guys live totally separate lives. You don't work for the city. You have your social groups. You talk about what the city is planning or thinking about doing, and you ask people, what do you think? So then you bring those ideas, and then we kind of talk about those, and maybe then those ideas become our ideas. And then when we have issues, we tell you what our issues are. And then you can kind of talk, you write letters of support to our city managers, and you, so we had the vandalism issue, and I'm like, I want a ranger, and so we took it to him, and our city manager said, well, thank you for the information, here's the realities of our budgeting and all of these things. And so it was kind of a no-go, but it puts it in front of him, then he talks, because we can't go to our commissioners, because that's the city manager works for the commissioners, we for the city manager, so there's that separation, because the commissioners can't come to us and be like, I need you to go out and do this. Right. That's why we have ethics classes to teach everybody where their positions are. So
Do we have anyone?
no, they haven't. Yeah, they just announced the open position last night, I think.
Right, so it's still the same gentleman from a few months back?
No, he's a senator.
He's a senator now.
So he's gone.
Paul's gone.
Yeah.
So, but they are taking applications though, I believe they said they were opening.
Yeah, they're
It's
opening
an
applications, but it's still up to the commissioners.
But it's for, I can't remember what his district is, I'm sorry.
One.
I'm
District
one.
District one, okay.
One.
I try to be, and I'm not political, my goal is to get stuff done, so I can't.
Linda, to answer your question a little further too, I've also got some resources I can start sending out to you guys as well, kind of going over like board training, like how to.
Oh, I love that. I've been, yeah, that part I understand
No,
what
no, but
boards are, but
it
I
goes
meant,
into how to advocate for a Parks and Recreation, like,
So-
environment.
And also, as a Parks Board member, everybody is automatically a member of the NRPA, the National Recreation Parks Association. And so there's all kinds of resources there that you can
Right.
access. So
Right.
actually everybody that's on the Parks Board, everybody that works for parks, all of our employees, so we try to look for classes and things that are applicable to our staff, you know, our
right, I
managers
just,
and.
yeah,
So.
yes, I understand, I respect all that you have said. I just was wondering what physically,
She's looking hands
what we
Oh.
can do to aid in what's going on in our parks, in rec department, the whole parks department. I mean,
As an advisory board, I mean, your biggest thing you can do is.
okay, forget I'm on the advisory board, as an individual,
As
let's
an
go
individual,
that
really,
way,
it's
yes.
like adopt a spot volunteer stuff, wherever
Yeah.
you can volunteer is always helpful because, you know, we're working on getting to have volunteers, but they have to go through a background check if they're gonna help at the rec center. We
Right,
gotta make
right.
sure that we don't just let anybody in to work
Right,
around
I
kids or
understand
whatever.
all that.
I mean, we're also always looking to add contracted instructors for different courses and stuff, so we have a proposal sheet that people can put together as far as something they
Right,
wanna look
okay.
at offering,
Okay,
to us, we can send that out to anybody that requests it. And then obviously we have a meeting with them and kind of see kind of what they're wanting to do and stuff, but I'm pretty open to recreation for all, so of all ages, of all different kinds, like we kind of have, like she said, the nerdy stuff with the D&D and some of the magic stuff. And we have the sports and so, I mean, anything that,
So if you don't,
somebody's looking to
Yeah.
do
if you don't
something.
already have it, like just a basic tennis 101, how to play, I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah,
Well, I
she's-
do,
She's done camps for us.
No, but I've done, yeah, and I've done it through the
Yep.
the parks. I've done it not privately. I don't charge when I do it privately, as like others sort of do. There is one, I don't know if our people have come, there is this, new course that's starting on it.
Yeah, it's for adults, and so I
It
told
is for
them,
adults,
I
and that's
said, that's where the sticking point is, I said, so if you are going to reserve the courts, you have to pay for it.
Thank you,
So,
I was gonna,
I
didn't
did
mean to
tell,
bring that
I
up.
did tell them that, and I said, if you wanna use the courts first come, first serve, that's fine, cause they're not charging the adults. But I said, I don't have the leeway of youth, I can waive a lot of stuff for, we don't with adults. Adults have to pay, all of our adult leagues and stuff for sports, they have to pay for lights, they have to pay for fields.
I tried to tell
So
them that.
I said,
way
you
back.
have to pay, but I said, if you wanna use the courts first come, first serve, because you're not charging, that's fine, but then if somebody is on that court, you cannot kick them off for your event. So I made that
Okay,
very
no,
clear
and I said that
to the.
2 months ago when they started
Yeah.
talking about this.
Yeah, and they're used to cause they do the youth stuff. Youth stuff, I have a lot more leeway because we are trying to promote youth sports and things like that, so we don't
But the
charge
youth,
for any of
I
our
know,
youth
but
leagues.
they are charged, they're not charging, they're taking.
They're taking donations, so they're right along that fine line of you can give it if you would like.
Suggested donation or just outright donation?
No, you don't have to, but it is suggested.
Do
So
they have
that's
an amount
how they
that's
get
suggested?
around. Not that I know of on any of their flyers and stuff they provide to me, so, that's one that we've gone back and forth with the tennis association on, but, like I said, any of our other youth sports, soccer, softball, baseball, we don't charge for field usage or court usage, cause we're trying to promote it. So as long as they're not charging, then I can waive some fees and stuff that way. But as soon as, if, like I said, they start, for sure you have to pay $25 to take it, then they have to pay for court space, so.
And we also have the adopt a spot program too, if you want, like if
Yeah.
it's
I've
on.
been trying to get that.
They
I
do,
know that.
they do use it, we have with the JPA between the departments and the school, so we have arrangements where it's waived, but yeah, they get use of the courts. So.
Other new business, I got two before you get excited. First off, the water bill came out, there was no, the last water bill that we get in the mail, it didn't have anything, I always open it and see what you guys got going on here,
So I think they discontinued the
No,
newsletter.
it's all online now.
Yeah.
You have to go online.
Yeah.
It's still there, it's just online.
Can I just express that I missed that, cause I literally.
I
forgot, yeah.
They were trying to, save,
Save money.
yeah, so.
That was, to me, it was a very useful thing to see and to have.
Did that up their cost of mailing? Is
Yeah.
that the problem?
Yeah, because they
We
have to
still
pay
mail-
printing and mail stuffing essentially, so I think that was all done by an outside source, and so it's.
But Facebook and our website here is kept up to date, and we bought it's not the long domain thing, it's just albertrecreation.com.
Okay.
So,
But I missed it, just.
yeah,
Didn't even think of that till you said it.
yeah, they discontinued it. a
But I
while
do,
ago.
yeah.
It's almost like taking the funny pages out of the
It is.
newspaper.
I just noticed it this way. The last one is Dudley Park. You wanna talk about that one first?
Sure.
Because it hasn't come up on the minutes.
So Dudley Park, so that's a part, the historic Dudley School. Half of that, the building itself and all the interior will is gonna be under community services. We will share a little bit, but we are in charge of, or Parks is in charge of the playground and the picnic area that's going to be going in there. So it's under design. We thought we had everything ready to rock and roll, and then we discovered that the property line was 20 feet from where we thought it was.
Oh my God, that's a lot.
Which way?
The wrong way.
Oh.
Of course it's the wrong way.
So it's 20 feet closer to the building on the north side than, we thought it was like all the way out by the sidewalk,
On the
and it's
north
not,
side.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Facing the community
Yeah,
garden,
yeah.
so it's actually 20 feet in. So we have to, where the sign is at,
So the rest of it, the street belongs to the city?
it belongs to the city's part of an easement, or whatever.
This is
It's,
supposed to belong to-
yeah, so it's part of the city, so,
Where's this park?
it's
What,
Dudley,
Maryland
it's Dudley
Avenue?
School.
800 Maryland Avenue.
Yeah,
I
what
don't
she
think I
said,
would buy
it's
it.
on Maryland. If you go by it tonight, you should see it from like 3 city blocks away, because it is lit up really bright, because we were in the process, like really early in the process. I think the roof was on, but they were still reglazing windows and all kinds of stuff, and the day that the community garden had their grand opening, that night, somebody tried to burn Dudley School. You could see where they went through and poured gasoline and lit it on fire. You could see the trail where it burned,
That's terrible.
I did not
Accelerant
realize it, that's
So,
bad.
like by the next day, there was 20 cameras and multiple floodlights, and Joe Lewandowski put those lights up, and he came and he could see, like, he was like, oh my God, I've gotta do something about those lights, because he thought there was a football game. He's like, oh, this was brighter than the school lights, so we kinda had to dim them down a little bit, but,
So where's the playground gonna go?
the playground, so we were trying to do it as historic as possible with modern stuff.
Yeah.
So what would the old school have had? It would have had a swing set. So we're gonna have a swing set, and we're trying to, we're not gonna put ugly bright colors, we're trying to kind of match
Yeah.
the school and
Yes,
everything.
good, good.
So, but we're also trying to make it so everything is as ADA compliant as possible. So we'll have a nice swing set, we'll have an ADA swing in it and some toddler swings. And then we are gonna put the closest thing we can get to a traditional merry-go-round. So it's called a we-go-round, and it has the pour and play cork like surfacing around it.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be,
Like on our front patio.
yeah, so you can walk in and sit down on the bench, or it'll also have a space if you're in a wheelchair or mobility scooter that you can also drive into it, so it's kind of that level.
I just saw one of
And then you
those
can
up in
just
Colorado
use your
just up
arms
road.
to spin it, and so, cause I wanted to have something that was, cause surely they would have had a death trap of a merry-go-round back in the day, cause everybody did,
Yeah,
so.
it is, it is. Yeah,
Are you talking about the
I just
metal
saw
one?
We can't do seesaws,
Yeah.
are now
No,
illegal,
no.
you can have a wobbly thing,
Love
but
those.
no seesaws anymore, teeter-totters or seesaws are now illegal, you can't have those, because it's health and safety to everybody to the point of padded corners, but anyway, so. So we're gonna have, some shade structures with picnic tables and things underneath. It's not gonna be as big as we thought it was, cause we were gonna put it 20 by 20 in, but now it's gonna be maybe several smaller ones rather than one big one, just because we lost so much property. But in our meeting that we had today, while the fence and the yard will be smaller, that space that we now lost, we're gonna pour all of that in concrete, and we're gonna do a dyed concrete with stamps to try to make it match sort of the marble foundation and the traditional marble, so that then if somebody is having a birthday party or an event, they could actually hire a food truck that could pull up on that. And they could bend that way, so it's kind of an easier way of catering, or they still have a commercial kitchen, cause it does have.
So that part that you said you didn't think we had, you can do something like that with it, but it's, okay, you just can't include it as the.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I was like, I don't wanna lose it, so can we do this? And plus, with this engineered wood mulch and the pour and play surfacing, you don't wanna have a weed patch or grass or sand or whatever, and then have all that, if you're trying to do maintenance, or, you know, our nice Tularosa Basin wind, blowing that stuff in, blowing seeds or goat head or whatever into your playground or into that pour and play surfacing. So that also keeps, that protects that investment, because all of that stuff is so incredibly expensive.
That was why I was asking, we had that conversation about how expensive it is for the playground stuff, and Joe's telling me we're putting in a playground, and I'm like, well, are we doing like Paiute playground, or are we doing?
No, we're
For
doing,
school, I was hoping there'd be.
we wanna do something that both the people who used to go to school there, cause there's still a lot of those
There are.
folks, or at least folks that had relatives that went to that school, so a lot of those are older folks. So we want people to go and be able to kind of experience that, but we're also trying to do, that's just our goal, is to have more ADA stuff. And so we might, because now it's smaller, we may have some extra funds left over, and so I'd like to do something that is then also, if we add an extra toy, I wanna do something that's an audible toy, so that our school, the blind folks, or visually impaired folks will also have something, you know, and kids love to make noise. I mean, I always love banging on those things. So I'd love to do a rock harp, but we're trying to avoid rocks, so anyway, I just love the rock harps. We drop all the rocks and it down through the big boulders with the level through there. I don't know if anybody's ever
Oh,
seen
it's like one of those rain machine things,
yeah, it's
except,
kinda like that. They
Yeah.
call them rock harps. They're two giant boulders, and it's got like stainless steel tubes of all different sizes. And usually they're in like a pea gravel thing, and kids just pick up the rocks and drop it, and it just like wind chimes almost, yeah. It's really nice. But I couldn't find one, we don't want pea gravel here, so.
Anybody have anything else? Anybody want to adjourn then? Oh, wait, upcoming events, sorry, upcoming events, announcements, upcoming events?
Well, really we don't have any like special events, I don't think, other than your programming. Homeschool frisbee. It's an ongoing event.
My address this was doing birthday today, but, no. Community services may look at doing some kind of kid appreciation special event here in the spring, so.
So, yeah, right now, I mean, everybody's a little stressed out, just because this is the last week for us to do budget builds, so it's always super fun. So, that's where we say, this is how much money we have, and then we have to pay for the rest.
Anybody wanna move to adjourn?
I agree.
And that's Victoria.
Did you catch that?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Everybody ready to go?
Woo-hoo! I was gonna say, oh no, it stopped recording 45 minutes ago.
April.
April.
Quarterly, yeah.
Yeah, and it's usually the second Wednesday.
Yes.
Because no one knows.
Right.
So
it's still second
So, wait, okay, but how does that?
oh, yeah, I thought it worked out for here, not me, you were gonna say.
I gotta take off.
But I have the Honor Society up and running.
And that'll be
My
that.
daughters actually are, president